Day 13, 14, 14, 15, something like that of 31 Days of Horror Halloween 2015. And today I want to do something a little bit different. We're going to do another 2-for-1 special. We did it for the Mario Bava Black Sunday, Black Sabbath double feature. And I figured, we're going to do this once more. Primarily just because I am really stressed for time and I don't have time to upload 45 videos a day, so it's kind of a way to sort of economize everything we're doing. But there actually is sort of a recurring theme to the two films we're discussing. They're both in the early 1980s, even though they're not directed by the same person or starring the same actors. They are pretty much carrying the same sort of subgenre motif, and they also have the word bloody in their title. And they're also two of the better early 1980s slasher films you'll see. I mean, they're no Sleepaway Camp or, Twitch of the Death Nerve, but they're still really, really good and in far superior offerings to, most of the direct that came out during the early days of the Reagan administration. Alright, so the two movies we're covering today are from 1981, Bloody Birthday, and from 1982, I want to say it's My Bloody Valentine. Of course, the original, not the 3D remake that had the cop from Night of the Creeps in it. So to begin, Bloody Birthday, this movie I've never seen before, and this is really the reason why you go out and you do 31 Days of Horror activities. It's to go out there and discover films that you've never seen before, that completely just take you by surprise. They're just so innovative and fun and out there and completely, non-PC and against the current, zeitgeist. And this is a tremendous little slasher movie. To begin, it has a plot line which you would never see in a horror film today. So there are these three kids who were born during like a lunar eclipse, and now they're like 8 years old, and another lunar eclipse that happens, and for some reason it triggers like some microbes in their head, and it turns them like super like psychotic, criminal, genius, evil. And from there, there's two boys and a girl, and they decide to embark upon a campaign of terror. There's two kids making out in an open grave because apparently people did that in the 80s. They're killed, they're hung. The local sheriff, he's killed with a skateboard mishap. And, they just run around doing some terrible, terrible things. In fact, there is a really, really uncomfortable scene where one of the kids gets a handgun and shoots his teacher. Like I said, stuff you would never see in a horror film today, and that's actually weirder because the name of the teacher canonically in the film is actually Viola Davis. It's the first time I heard that, I kind of LOL'd because what are the odds? So yeah, they're running around doing evil stuff, so it's kind of like the Bad Seed meets Halloween. And there's like one girl in town who's a babysitter who knows the deep dark secret, but there's this brilliant plot motif where the kids like pretend to make a poison cake at a party, so everybody in town thinks the babysitter's insane. So this is really great, and there's a bunch of evil little twerps, and there's like another part where like they dress up like ghosts and steal a sedan and try to run her down in a junkyard. And it's just really, really great stuff because it follows #1 rule of a horror film: anyone can die at any time. And the death scenes, I mean, it's very, well, there's some stuff in this movie. I'm not going to give away too much, but there is a scene involving a glory hole and a bow and arrow, which I think is one of the most, memorable death scenes in any early 80s slasher film. Give or take, positives, negatives. Just saying, it's going to be hard to forget that one. And, the thing is, for a movie about, evil 8-year-olds, I mean, the final denouement, the Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Myers chase around the house, I mean, it's really, really well done. And it's certainly an entertaining movie, and a movie where you just watch it and you're just like, man, this is the 80s. None of this stuff could be done today. And, it's just a fun little treasure trove of the bygone era. Back when you could make movies about 8-year-olds killing people, and everybody thought it was fun. Lots of guffaws. Nothing, depressing or disturbing, unnerving about that. So yeah, that's a really, really, really entertaining slasher variation. I'm going to give it 3 pieces of candy corn out of 4, see it if you have it. And from there we go to the good old Canada with My Bloody Valentine, which is one of the most, acclaimed and beloved degenerate cinema offerings, once again, of the early 1980s. And this one, it's kind of an anti-slasher film in a way. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of people getting stabbed to death with pickaxes. But, you know, there's more of a plot. You know, they're drifting away from the dead teenager formula, where it's not just a bunch of, randy, 19 and 20-year-olds going out in the woods and getting slaughtered for being idiots. I mean, it's basically set in Canada, and there's like a coal mining town, and, there was like a tragic collapse 20 years earlier, and now somebody's coming back dressed up like a coal miner, and people are having their hearts yanked out at laundromats, and you got a bunch of coal miners who are deciding to get together and have a drinking party, and they're worried about labor union fees, and eventually they decide to go subterranean, because why not? Let's get drunk in a coal mine. And, since this is a horror film, and a slasher film in particular, you can kind of figure out what happens next. They don't have a good time and listen to tunes and just kind of come to understand and bond. No, they die, and they die horribly. One of the things about this movie is the atmosphere. You gotta love it, because it's so different. You go back and you watch Friday the 13th and Halloween, it has that certain sense of tenseness, that pressure, because stuff's going to happen. This one, it's a little bit different, because you're not really sure if, the people you're watching are actually going to end up being killed, if they factor prominently in the denouement. And it is, once again, sort of a whodunit. You don't really know who the killer is until literally the last reel of the movie. So, I mean, it's going to keep you guessing. You're going to be involved. It has that mystery component. The cinematography is great. I mean, there's just really good shots underground. Like, there's a part where, they're on the little trolley going down in the cavern. I mean, it's just very well done. There's also a really great scene where they're inside one, like, a giant factory, and they have, like, all the coal miner coats hanging overhead. There's, like, a girl who's, like, poised coatus just laying there. And, like, the actual killer is actually in one of the uniforms dangling overhead. There's, like, 100 of them in the ceiling. I mean, that's really innovative. I haven't really seen a move like that in a slasher film before. So it's very unique, very against the grain, very different from what we're used to. And I mean, that's really sort of the beauty of the entire movie, because you get lots of stuff like that. There are tons of really great shots and really good angles. And once again, you never know who's going to die. I mean, that's the thing that makes slasher films work. It's just unpredictable. Nobody's safe. The Grim Reaper's around every corner, and once again, it also has that murder mystery, dynamic. So, I mean, that'll keep you guessing. It has a little bit more weight to it than something like Jason or Freddy, when you know who's doing the killing, and it's just waiting to see, how they go. So, once again, another really entertaining, engrossing, in more ways than one, little slasher film from the Reagan era. Just really entertaining, good acting, good cinematography. Just really enjoyable. No other way to put it. Just watch it. It's a bygone era. It's the 1980s. You're just going to get a lot of nostalgia. Even if you're like me, you were born in like the mid-80s. You still pick up that aura, that sense of yesteryear. And I think that's one of the things that really gives these movies their appeals. They remind you a whole lot better than films in other genres, of what once was culturally. So there you go. Bloody Birthday and My Bloody Valentine, two films with a similar motif, and both of which are actually among the better slasher films from the early 1980s. I'm going to give both of them 3 pieces of candy corn out of 4. If you haven't seen them, I think they make a pretty good double feature. And pardon the pun, they also make for a bloody